the voice of Roy Unity. The beat of the street is you and me. United is the beat of me.
That's right, DC. We're gonna go on a rant about oi music. Cheers. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Before we jump into this rant, let me play this from the beginning. All right. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Today my phone is fully charged or almost fully charged. No research whatsoever, but I'm about to show you probably like 50 records, which originally I intended to do a short video to keep up with my goal of putting out here like a video on a weekly basis. And I think I'm going to do a series called One a Day Will Make Your Week Okay, and it will be me showing 7 records per week. But things changed as I was talking to my wife. We both grew up on punk rock and music, both 90s punk kids, so oi street punk was a big thing, and a lot of these records actually was like me asking my wife, what do you identify as oi, and the idea came to go on a rant about how I feel, what I perceive as oi music. I'm gonna turn these down because I can tell it's too loud. I think this video will be way better with a script, but you know how it is. No script, no editing. Cheers. We roll DIY here, man. That's how it is. So, apologies in advance. There'll be beer drinking and smoking here because I think I might have, quite a few things to ramble here. So, oi music. Why am I here talking about oi? Well, it's because, first of all, what the fuck is oi? Second of all, it's because it's a label within the punk rock genre of music, pushes a lot of people away immediately, which I get it, but truly I don't, because if you are slightly informed, you shouldn't deprive yourself from exploring punk rock just because of a label. It's the same thing. A lot of people, they don't like anarcho-punk, but they never actually took time to listen to any anarcho-punk, and they likely to have like misconception what anarcho-punk is. And I gotta say, I do not, anything that comes out of my mouth is just purely how I feel. I'm not claiming anything, I'm not labeling anything. It's just to the best of my understanding and my way of communicating what this music represents to me. Oi music, oi, pushes a lot of people away, to my understanding, because there's association to people think, a lot of people think of oi music as like music associated with extreme political views, in particular boneheads, right? Because I think everybody that stops in my channel, listens to this type of shit that I do, everybody understands, everybody's familiar with, you know, the roots of the skinhead scene, what it stands for, what it never stood for, and all that shenanigans. But we're not here to give it nobody, you know, to read a history lesson to anyone. I just want to share my thoughts about Oi and why I think that the ones that are not fully open to explore it are missing out. So, I know I'm gonna talk in circles. Sorry, I cannot be that objective. But you guys probably, if you're watching this, you probably don't have nothing better to do, so just hang out, that's okay. Just crack open a cold one, it'll be alright. So, as I was saying, a lot of people pushed away, oh, fucking skinhead music, extreme right wing politics, white supremacists, whatever. It's all bullshit. Let me let my cat out. Go, Chloe. Go. I should have called her Chloe instead of Chloe. But anyways, it's a misconception. You know, it's like, why would, if you like punk rock, if you like, you know, punk rock, if you like punk rock, why wouldn't you listen to Oi? Because there is indeed a faction that embraced or used the aesthetics, even the sound of some of the classic Oi bands, you know, that stand for extreme political views. But man, you go to a fucking heavy metal show, there'll be a bunch of fucking people out there with extreme political views. There'll be, you go see fucking Anna Montana, there'll be fucking rednecks dying to slit your throat just because you're fucking brown and you're not picking their farms right. So it's not about politics. So you gotta leave politics outside of the music. You know, of course, you know, you're not gonna listen to any music in general that will be fucking preaching about something that you don't stand for, right? But just because Oi is a genre indeed that appealed and the skinhead subculture embraced, that doesn't mean you cannot listen to it. That doesn't mean you cannot explore it, right? It's like, fuck, you're not gonna listen to the Smiths just because you eat meat? It's stupid. So, I think Oi is fucking punk rock, right? So, Gary Bushel helped coin the term, like, you know, to sum up things, Cockney Rejects, oi oi oi, in almost every song, back and forwards, that is more like a chant that comes from, you know, the football bleachers or the stands, the terraces, whatever you want to call it, than anything else. The guy, journalist, he used that term and he ended up coining a genre that is present till this day. But again, within the punk rock scene, we continue to be our worst enemies, and we, instead of staying focused on unity, how this music that we love, it's nothing but just standing. It's a stand. If you like punk rock, you're standing against mainstream culture. You're standing against the establishment. Doesn't matter where you are, it's because you're unhappy with what was offered to you in life, right? Or do you feel like things could be easier and better? That's what it is. And now, 10 minutes later, I start looking at records. Let's understand if oi is only for skinheads, if oi is a particular sound, or if oi is nothing but punk rock. It is indeed punk rock from and for the working class. It pissed off a lot of 77 purists because until this phenomenon called oi, punk rock was a middle class, was embraced by the middle class kids, middle class kids. Let's not get things mixed up here or over generalized, but it was middle class art school kids, right? They wanted to have a say. They were tired of the status quo and they did something fucking amazing. But when bands such as Sham 69 they came out of the scene, and all that sing along, all that football stadium feel came to play, being football like one of the few things at the time in England giving joy to the working class because they were fucking poor, right? You just wanted your football team to win to give you some sort of happiness and a good excuse to have a laugh, have a say, have some drinks and party and fight, whatever, rock your boat. Back then, they had. Yeah. Art school kids, they didn't like that, right? Middle class kids, they didn't like that. Too much commotion, too rowdy. Yeah, they didn't like that. So, even within punk rock music, there's a separation of classes, and that fucking sucks. It does. So, the only classes we have today we have 3 classes. You have, in my book, and of course I'm going to try to be a little full as I usually am here, and throw my two cents of nonsense, be a little smart ass. But there's 3 classes. There are hipster punks, which are the ones that are young, they're up to everything that new thread, rarely take their time to pay respect to the godfathers of the music that they so-called beloved. There's the fucking gatekeepers. The gatekeepers. You guys are fucking dumb. And there's us. Middle class, midlife crisis people that still love fucking punk. Still have your fucking wife telling you, what the fuck? It's been 35 years, dude. Just change the fucking record. Get a life. Doesn't matter. We love this shit because he gave us a purpose. He gave us a fucking identity. And I, based on people that I've met, that I crossed paths, I gotta say, the 90s generation, there was a lot of people. They came and go, and nobody saw them again. Doesn't matter. Hope everybody's well. But fucking a lot of troubled youth in the 90s, they found the identity through punk rock, in particular, oi. And gotta highlight this. This was a Bible in the 90s. This label, Captain Oi Records, did wonders for oi. And in this catalog alone, this will prove you how oi has nothing to do with skinheads. Oi has nothing to do with extreme or any political views. This catalog was the first time that's how I became aware of the Starjets, the Stiffs, even Skeptics, Mau Maus. It was through this catalog. Anyways, No more rants. Let's look at records. Oi, the album. Sounds. Sounds presents for your titillation and identification and enjoyment. Oi, the album. So, let's start with this. This record contains the following bands: Cockney Rejects, Peter and Test You Babies, Four Skins, Postman, Exploited, Terrible Twins, Angelic Upstarts, and Cox Parter. How many of these bands will have appeal for what the majority of people perceive as a skinhead? Fucking Cox Parter? Fucking a mid-70s band playing Rolling Stones covers? Don't see it. Angelic Upstarts? Self-proclaimed anti-fascist band? Exploited? Fucking a Scottish band playing fast, obnoxious, almost irrational lyrics. Peter and Tessie Babies, they're all about drinking, fucking, and childish shenanigans. No. Cockney Rejects, yeah, the football element, but that's it. The football element. There's no politics on Cockney Rejects songs, and the Four Skins. Maybe because just they had the name Four Skins, the word skins in their name, and they were indeed skins. Maybe Herberts, maybe mods, but the music alone might not be the music that someone that has a misconception of Oi thinks. So, should have done this live so you guys can throw feedback at me and guide me. Otherwise, this is just gonna be a long ass video of my nonsense. So, Oi music. Let's start to look at some essential records. I picked records that I believe I never shared here. Yeah, just to keep me going. Believe. I didn't do any research on the dates, but I believe this came out on 1988 on Link Records. Talking about The Business, Saturday Heroes. The Business, for anyone that knows The Business, knows that this is pure punk rock, some rock and roll influenced, anthemic, and man, beloved band among Oi fans. They cover Crass, Do They Owe Us a Living? That alone should tell you a lot of that, about that Oi thing. Essential, absolutely essential. Four Skins debut, The Good, The Bad, and The Four Skins. Look at these guys. Do they look like they are standing for any political faction? No. If you never listen to this record, all you gotta do is listen to the first song and you'll be completely in disbelief. Like, whoa, this is Oi. Listen to Plastic Gangsters. Yeah. A record indeed that skinheads love, and rightfully so, because it's a fucking skinhead banger. The Last Resort, A Way of Life, skinhead anthems. Yes, this is a banger. But this is not a record that should intimidate no one. You should not define Oi music. This is just like working class, roughly but passionately played rock and roll. Tough as nails, classic music. We were listening to one of my favorite bands from the last 25 years, from Holland, Evil Conduct. But now, since we're on an Oi team, I'm just gonna play Oi the Rarities. I have the 3 volumes out. That's what we're gonna listen throughout this adventure. So I left you with Last Resort, Skinhead Anthems. Punk as fuck. The godfathers or the originators of Oi. Cockney Rejects, Greatest Hits Volume 1. Not familiar with these, just listen to songs such as I'm Not a Fool, Bad Man, Join the Rejects, Police Car, They're Gonna Put Me Away, Are You Ready to Rock, and Where the Hell is Babylon? So, this is what I perceived as Oi. It's just like it's like tower block punk rock. And yeah, that's actually a definition that is thrown left and right, because that's what it is. This is like working class kids playing punk rock and being heavily influenced by their heroes. The Slades, the Sweets, and yeah, the Bubba Rock and all that. Punk rock at its finest moment. A band loved by many, hated by many more. Sham 69, Live and Loud. I do love these Link Records Live and Loud series. This is one of the best, hands down. Yeah, a band a lot of people love, a lot of people don't like it, including those 77 purists, because of the reasons that I mentioned before. He brought in the hooliganism aspect to the punk scene, so there was no more pogoing, there was like brawls, and I can see that, being intimidating and changing and pissing people off, pissing gatekeepers off, but you gotta adjust to the times, you gotta adapt, that's how it is. This is fantastic. Poor Cow. It's probably like Poor Cow, they don't understand. Those two recordings here are like flawless. A record that is loved from anyone that likes Oi music loves this record. The Crack, In Search of the Crack. This is just a rock and roll album. This is just a pure rock and roll album. Check it out. Don't just sit there. Take Me Away, You Keep Me Running. Those are like bangers that will open your heart to the Oi sound. And as we were looking on Oi, the album, like bands Exploited, they were listed there. Peter and Tessie Baby were listening there. Look at this. This is hilarious. Look at this label. Let me grab a cigarette butt. See this label here? Look at this shit. Do you think that someone that gave a shit about politics will take the time to be this genius? No. I love that fucking label. I think it's the best one ever. Now the band. Everybody loves 77 Punk. Loves these guys. Skinheads love these guys. Fucking menace. This is the final vinyl, the complete discography on Helter Skelter. He has everything that you want to hear by them. If you're not familiar with Menace, of course, you are familiar with JLC, because that song is in every single early punk compilation. But listen to songs such as I Need Nothing, or Electrocutioner, The Young Ones, or Live for Today. Yeah, Menace. Oi. The guys that allegedly bullied Sid Vicious in high school. You gotta like them. Working class, kids, tower blocks, gotta be tough. You gotta learn to walk by falling. Another band. Fucking love this band. Major Accident, Massacred Melodies. If you're not familiar with these guys, they, as you can tell, they have the Clockwork Orange aesthetics. They do have songs that make references to bits and pieces of the movie or the book. But this is tough punk rock. Well, not tough. It's kind of sloppy, but fierce, passionate. punk rock. I love this. I love everything that they did. If you're not familiar with that, with this, just listen to the song "War Boots" and "Mr. Nobody." Yep, Mr. Nobody usually is the guy that comes up with all this bullshit about what you should listen to, what you shouldn't, and it's like that. That one that person that likes gossip and likes to plant landmines, that kind of thing. Fucking people can we human beings, we can be so fucking idiotic. Gonna roll another one, boys. 26 minutes. My goal is to wrap these up in 50 minutes. So if you're tired of this shit, just tell me just type it. Dude, don't do that shit again because it's way too long and too much. At the end of the day, this is my channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Right? One thing I can promise you is that you will never see ads on my channel. That will never fucking happen. I fucking hate this shit. Anyways. I got kind of lost in here. But, so until past Sham 69, Cockney Rejects, Four Skins, Business, of course I could have thrown Cox Power, The Menace. So we're talking like first wave oi music, Crack On, Crack, Major Accident, even though those are all punk bands, but often, as I said, for one reason or another, people throw it on a punk rock bowl. So, and we're still in the 80s here. This is one of my favorite. This is a UK 82. This is from 1984 on Rant Records. This is Resistance 77 debut. Thoroughbred Man. Fucking love this record. I love their single. If the song Colors and Ties that is in the single was in here, this will be a perfect record. If you're not familiar with this record, man, this is a joy of a record. Listen to songs such as Chelsea Girl, Against All Odds, Rocktown, Granddad, Pass Me the Bottle. This is a banger. This is like pure punk rock, rock and rollish. Any fan like of Johnny Moped and that kind of stuff, you'll like this. The voice is distinct. There's a little thinner tone to it, but this is a banger. So, and again, still within the oi spectrum. But Oi Records, the band the label that was founded by Roddy Moreno from The Oppressed. We get there from Wales. While Oi, or the skinhead movement was at full force in Britain at this time, like that's when the National Front started to recruit young skinheads. I'm not gonna say brainwash them. Maybe that's how some will define it, but I think brainwashing is all as much as you allow yourself to be brainwashed. At the end of the day, we always have a choice. Nobody chose to do anything or follow anything at gunpoint. So it was a choice, but there was a lot of propaganda from the National Front, and they recruit a lot of skinheads. For the ones that didn't go their route, they coined them as the boneheads because they indeed embraced extreme right-wing view on life, including racism. And but at that time, things were full force. Oi Records, that's the name of the label. Oi Records puts out this amazing record. Barbed Wire from Scotland, The Age That They Didn't Care. This is a criminally underrated UK 82 record. Absolute banger. Fans of Verokers, fans of The Threats, which are Scottish as well, you gotta listen to this. if you never listen to this, just check it. Check songs such as "In the Ghetto," "Fuck the Police," "Tory Propaganda," "Where We Live," banger, right here. And I talked before about the godfather of Oi, just because he was the guy that coined it, you know. And there's always someone that gets public recognition, and this guy did it. I have nothing against Gary Bushel. I actually had the opportunity to meet him, and I don't have any bad things to say about it from a personal perspective. He coined the term Oi, and he had his own band called the fucking Gonads. This is the best of Gonads, the Revenge of the Gonads on Link Records from '89. And if you never listen to this band, and it's like, oh, you feel like you're just about to deep dive into a shitstorm of sleazy, nonsensical bullshit, you could not be wrong. But check the songs. Truckers, Rockers, Ain't No Suckers, and I Lost My Love in the UK sub. I Lost My Love in the UK sub could be a single on Stiff Records in '77. Beautiful. And then things start to evolve. We're getting to mid '80s, and at that point, there's indeed a resurgence of not a resurgence, like bands starting to take a more political stance, and you can see, and that's when the Bonehead thing, because I gotta call it by name. And for the record, I don't stand for any political view. If I were to, will be anarchism, even though even anarchism is too militant for me, but I fucking hate the system. I think the system was made to keep us in shackles. You know, all we get is the crumbles that they throw at us, but never mind. That's the society we have, and let's roll with it, and let's do the little changes that we can do. That's all. But anyways, at that point, a lot of things start popping. There was the REC, which stands for Rock Against Communism, which was embraced big majority by bands. There are white supremacist bands. There's no other way to say it. That's what they think about it. You know, in America things are different, and then I'll explain why. But there was a lot of, there was troubled times at that time, but a band that I love from the era is Section 5. This is their third album on Link Records from '88. Their first album, You Won't Change, is probably my favorite. I like everything by them. She's just like poorly played rock and roll, but with a heart. And they defined Oi as how I grew to love it and perceive it. Oi is just street rock and roll. Section 5, great record. If you're not familiar with this record, just listen to the song Work It Out and street rock and roll, of course. Yeah. Section 5. Great record from that era. Is this one too? Also from 88. This is The Glory. We Are What We Are. This record, if you listen to this record, listen to the song Where Were You? Listen to the instrumental The Glory of Oi, and you'll be blown away. Like the sound that these guys have. Like this, there's some melancholy to their sound. The lyrics are nothing but punk rock, but there's a lot of bands these days heavily influenced by this record. I don't know if because they listen to the record or it's just a result of the access to a lot of information, but this record, for me, it's a banger. And mentioned before, gotta mention this again. Just try to break down things and my goal with this is just to prove that Oi is nothing but punk rock. If you like punk rock, do not exclude yourself from listen to anything that you see reviewed as Oi, because you'll be missing out big time. Oppressed, Oi Oi Music, classic. Oi Polloi, Fight Back, fucking Oi Polloi. One of the most anarcho bands ever. This band is as political or anti-politics as it can be. First band that full on. These guys, for me, when I became familiar with them when I was a teenager, that's why I've been in love with this band forever. They were so much more explicit and forward than even Crass was when we came to animal cruelty, homophobia, racism, you name it. Forefront. These guys are in the forefront of standing for everything that appeals to human peace, collaboration, the best that human beings have to give to the world. Oi Polloi. They came out on a fucking Oi label. Oi Polloi. Man, I have a shit ton of records still. I'm gonna have to wrap this up quick. This is a comp Oi Collector series on Running Riot mail order, 500 copies. You probably can't find these easily still. Criminal Class, love this band. I have all their singles, but a song that doesn't come in their single. That's why I bought this. I had to have it. I had the CD on Captain Oi. This is fucking raw, very, I'll say, like primitive, me to slow pace punk rock and roll. But this song, dude, Do You Wanna Be Mine? Gotta give this a go. Banger. Criminal Class. Another banger here this is a comp as well. The early years of Subculture. Their first, not their first, yeah, it is their first because they put out something more recently. First single, Loud and Clear, is Anthem. Anthem. Any punk rock fan will fall in love with this Anthem. Subculture. And these are all bands that, they're called Oi for the ones that take Oi too serious. But at the end of the day, this is all punk rock. This is a band that indeed come across as a patriotic band, but being patriotic doesn't mean to be racist, doesn't mean to be full of prejudice. I think it means to be proud of the country you were born. At the end of the day, I think that's probably what he says in the dictionary. So, Close Shave, Lone Riders, third album. I fucking love this. I love this cover. It came out on Dim Records, which I must say, Dim Records is a label that put out some suspicious things that I don't own. As I mentioned many times ago, if I don't buy nothing that make me doubt myself. So, but this is great. This is the song Insomnia, and it will be a totally different take of, it'll be interesting to hear a song that sounds like the way Insomnia sounds played by a band that, comes across as a tough skinhead band. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. And now I have this aside here. Show this because every single cool cat these days, or cool young buck these days, that is into punk rock, on the forefront of punk rock, all those, you see them on these bands that embrace post-punk and Oi. They embrace everything that I have to embrace. Must say, I love a lot of those bands. must say it is amazing how these young guys can mash all this mess and make wonderful music as they do. And this is a record that is nothing but punk, but is beloved by the Oi crowd. Always was. So, if you don't like Oi, if Oi it's not for you, don't even dare to rock a Crux shirt. Because if you rock a Crux shirt or the Crash shirt and you don't like Oi, you're a poser. And yeah, and now we're getting to the 80s, America. Let's take a look what Oi in America look like or looks like. America, one of the best tough as nails rock and roll American punk bands. The Bruisers, cruising for a bruiser. You gotta love the Bruisers. If you like rock and roll, if you like punk rock, you gotta love the Bruisers. One of a kind band. Man, the fucking Bruisers. Oh, the fucking Bruisers. Go and listen to Iron Chain, which is a cover. Doesn't matter. The Press from New York. Sees a complete discography came out on Insurgents Records from Canada, which is an anti-fascist label. First wave of sharp skin as against racial prejudice from New York. This is a banger. If you never listened to this, you gotta listen to songs such as Is It Any Wonder, Shut Your Fucking Mouth, 21 Guitar Salute, and It's Not What I Want. Listen to the song It's Not What I Want by The Press. One of the best American punk albums, and also you can call it Oi. Anti-Heroes, that's right, alien from Atlanta. Listen, You Can't Kill the Blues with a Gun. The Herbert Moonstomp. Smash a Window. The Bomb. Classic. And now, that's when things start getting weird. Maybe not. Look at this. Boy. She looks patriotic as fuck, huh? Yeah, that's America. But in America, everybody's patriotic. Everybody's proud to be in America. Somehow. Kicker Boys, man. A banger right here. This is the song Handgun. Banger. This is from 88 on Link. Forced Reality. Banger of a record. This came out on Tang Records. Let's see if I have the year on this label. It's like when American skinheads were heavily influenced by New York hardcore and Boston hardcore, so that's what you get here. Listen to Bloody Thicker Than Water. Stars and Stripes, Shaped for Battle. Man, she looks tough, but there's nothing but choke from Slapshot, screaming his guts out how much he hates fucking establishment. Banger. Alien from New Jersey, Niblick and Bane, Go Away. Man, she's just like, this is what you want to listen when you go to a punk rock show in a dive bar. You're just like, a band that understands you. Amazing. Orange County, World of Pain, Bone Crusher debut. This is just about how desperate life can be. Amazing. And now, how can you like fucking 77 punk that is heavily rock and roll? By rock and roll I mean Chuck Berry, Little Richard influenced. Then you can sleep on the Templars. Check the Templars, Phase 2. Listen to Push and Shove, Pawns in the Game. Yeah, City Traffic, banger. This is Oi Baby. Let me turn this shit. We're getting to the end of the road. And then this is 80s, Templars 90s, and that's where I got mixed up in the Oi thing. And the reason why was because the 90s scene, you know, was humongous. And we wanted to learn, we wanted to hear, you know, and for some reason, maybe because it was something that was passed on by the previous generations, maybe by our parents, the importance of understanding your roots, where you're coming from. So the 90s kids, they wanted to know all about all these bands that I mentioned before, and they were heavily influenced by them. And then something started, which it is street punk. I will not refer to any of the bands that I showed until this point as street punk, because I think street punk is purely the 90s. The 90s is street punk because you could listen to, the 90s were purely a thing that you could, you were a punk, your friend was a skin. And there's a goth in a group. And there was a metalhead in a group. There was even a fucking someone in a group that didn't like any music. It's just like to drink beer. Of course, there was rivalries. Always that shit happens. But the 90s, we embraced fucking everything. If it was some remotely punk, fuck yeah, let's go for it. You know, we will listen from The Boys to fucking, I'm gonna say it, Condemned to 84. Listen to everything. You just wanted to listen to everything. And as a result, street punk kick ass. And I'm gonna show 2 records that I recommend. One, everybody knows. I'm not gonna show Fuck the 90s because I think The Pack is Back is better than Fuck the 90s. Oxymoron from Germany. This is a banger of a record. If you never listen to this, listen to songs such as Down the Drain, Razor's Blade, You're a Bore, You're a War, We Rule OK, Concrete Jungle, Kamikaze. This is a banger. Phenomenal record from Belgium, I believe. This is from 1996. The Pride, No Holding Back. And this, you listen to this, and this is a 90s skinhead rock and roll record. It's a banger. This came out a little bit later. This is from the 2000s, but I love this thing, and I think this describes perfectly the Oi revival in the 90s. Even though this is from like 2008 or 9, but it's their 3rd album. So this is a band. They were punks or skins during the 90s. On File, Breaking Rules, Football, Birds and Booze. Yeah, that's Oi right there. That's punk. Go get it. And punk and Oi, they kept going hand in hand because there's no separation. Alternate Action. This is Thin Line, the complete discography. This is from 2016. This is a band from 2010, I believe. This is a banger of a record. Check songs such as Dead End Street, Keep Running, Thin Line, a banger of a record. I've showed this before in a recent video. You should check this one out. Bishop's Green, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. You can tell those shaved heads, but there's nothing but punk in here. Punk from the heart. Alien from Kentucky. Brass Knuckle Boys. Skinheads from the Bible Belt. Just punk rock. Working class kids, you know, telling you about the shortcomings of living in the Bible Belt. Love this band. They have a lot of fucking influence of country and folk music in their, you know, mostly on the lyricism approach, but also on the musicality. Banger. Absolute banger. From Sacramento, Pressure Point, Resist, and Riot. I wish all their CDs will get the wax treatment. This is just like beautiful. Again, this is oi. This is punk. This is working class. This is punk rock made by the ones that nothing was easy for them to get here, and they got it done. This didn't come from the art school, but it came from the heart. A banger. A record that wants you to sing your ass off. From Canada, anti-fascist band The Prowlers. Air Today, Gone Tomorrow. I gotta listen to this shit. I'm gonna just leave it right here. More recent bands that some will say they're oi. Art Evidence, The Last One Standing, which is just like beautifully played punk rock. Beautiful melodies, smart lyrics, passionate. That's all you want, and that's what oi was all about. Passion, pure, straight from the heart. Didn't matter if it was anger, angst, love, but it was fucking truthful. That's what oi music in my heart for me is. It's truthful. It's from the heart. No bullshit. Straight to the point. Art Evidence right here. Most recently, LA band Castillo. I only have their first release, which is great. It's a good record to go check it out and maybe get a good idea for what the oi sound or for what contemporary oi might be, because there's definitely classic oi punk bands as an influence for these guys. Listen to the song Faded Memories. You get a good picture. This is great. They have more stuff out, but I think the moment that they shine wasn't on that one. And just to prove you how the label oi should not push you away, I'm gonna show you a record well acclaimed. People that are not even punk aficionados like this record. This record got a lot of reviews, got a lot of attention, a lot of clout, and these guys are heavily influenced by the so-called oi scene, which is street rock and roll, baby. The Chisel, Retaliator, the debut, a banger. Yeah, and that's what I think about oi. Oi is punk rock, man. That's what it is. Leave politics out of things, Otherwise, what are you doing? Are you loving music, or you're more concerned about what people tell you or say? Just get informed, and listen to the things that appeal to you, and that's it. And by the way, Eric Clapton is a cunt. If you want to get a little bit information about the skinhead scene, the original skinhead scene, and also how it evolved through those punk years, even though this is mostly focused on the OG scene, check George Marshall's The Skinhead Bible. This is the Spirit of 69. This is a Brazilian edition, but it's a good reading. And you know something? Oi, it's the shit. If you don't listen to oi music, you're missing out in life. Cheers.